Ladies and gentlemen, we are live. It is WrestleMania week. Shout out to all of you joining us. My name is Ango, and today I'm joined by Billy TKO. It is the Ango Show live, April 14th, 2015. Hopefully you guys can hear me. Billy, can you go ahead and talk and just make sure the crowd can hear you as well?
Can you guys hear me? Am I talking? Am I alive? Am I well? I think so.
I think so too. It sounds good on my end, so hopefully everybody can hear you as well.
I hope so, brother.
I'm going to move my camera slightly down. All right, cool. That's nice. I don't know what the hell be happening. I don't know why this is like such an issue, but hey guys, technical issues happen. And what's up everybody? What is going on? It's WrestleMania week, dude.
Dude, I'm excited. Big week, brother. Big week. You excited?
Yeah, I am, but I don't know if I'm as hyped as I was last year. I would say that for sure.
And we've talked about this a couple times.
Yeah, and I have a feeling it's going to be a big talking point today, honestly. But I think the issue, man, is that we are at a time, like, I don't know. I don't know what it is. It's not that, like, WWE is shit. It's not that.
No.
Is it because maybe WrestleMania is later this year? I don't know.
That could easily be a solid answer. It could be that it's later in the year or later in the month of April. Also, you know, it's Easter this weekend. You know, people are very busy as is. You know, you got Good Friday. Like, there's a lot going on this weekend. You know what I mean? So I don't necessarily, I can't pinpoint exactly what the answer to that is. I also think there's some more internal things that maybe we'll talk about in today's stream about like what WrestleMania could have looked like. You know what I mean? And, you know, I don't know. I don't know necessarily what it is right off the top.
Yeah. It feels slightly weird this year. Something is feeling weird. And we're definitely going to talk about it. Smackdown was Friday. Collision was Saturday. So obviously today should be a fun episode. And it's different because normally WrestleMania week, I do live post shows, which, to be honest with you, I just don't think that's the case anymore. I think this is the thing, man. I do the 12 p.m. show, and obviously we will be live post WrestleMania, post Stand and Deliver maybe, and you know, that should be kind of fun with. We should have a lot of fun with that. I don't know. Nat's fan is asking in the chat, will I cover GCW? I do. I cover all the indie stuff that happens during WrestleMania week. So the best thing I would recommend is if you guys honestly, and I genuinely mean this, like follow on TikTok, YouTube, Twitter, because I'll be tweeting, TikToking, YouTubing all week.
It's a busy week.
Busy week, man. Busy week. We have our super chat goal active if you guys want to help drive the conversation forward. Definitely would appreciate it if you guys wanted to show some love. WrestleMania week is the biggest week, especially on this channel. Like every year we do something really cool for WrestleMania week. This year it's actually a little bit different. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not making it a huge extravaganza anymore, because every Monday through Friday at 12 p.m. Eastern is a weekly extravaganza on this channel. And we really want to normalize what the show is and the impact that the show could potentially have. And for that reason, you know, I really want to make it clear, this channel has a very, very specific goal, of 100,000 subscribers. Less than 20,000 away. So gonna keep grinding, gonna keep doing my hardest to get there, and obviously that's a really big part of what we're looking to do as we move forward. You know what I mean? So and Billy's already making strides with his own channel. He's been doing the watch alongs, which is really cool. And then of course Billy's TikTok is starting to do extremely well. So we are out here putting in the work, man. Which
making it happen.
Yeah, it's exciting, man. Like I feel like we gotta. It's a turning point, I should say.
Yeah, it is. And this week is just one of those, no matter what, you know, it is an important week, but, you know, kind of following up on what you said, you know, we're trying to normalize that here every Monday through Friday. You guys are getting something exciting, and we try to make this feel as important every time, whether it's WrestleMania weekend, whether it's the Royal Rumble weekend, whether it's whatever. It doesn't matter. We're just here to talk pro wrestling and hopefully give you guys a quick little getaway from what you guys have going on.
Yeah, for sure. And I feel like right now too, it's such an interesting time period, if I'm being honest, because I think if I'm just going to be very, very honest with you guys, I feel like with wrestling, WWE has been cooking all year, and we've had some really, really good feuds, and we've seen a lot of stuff, So it's funny when we talk about turning strides, WrestleMania week. Like, I don't know, man. Maybe that's probably another issue too. But no, Billy's killing it. Billy's doing his thing. So make sure you guys are following him at Billy TKO. And I don't know, man. I'm excited. I think one thing I really want to address, and I kind of want to talk about this early, because I know you were doing a watch along Friday with your lady, and
Yep.
I mean that probably was an interesting experience because she's not a wrestling fan, so you're forcing her to watch.
Yeah.
There was
It's tough to say she's not a wrestling fan because she is, but she's a wrestling fan based on me.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
But yeah, no, that you talk about an interesting experience for sure, and a lot of people from this chat showed up, and we all had a really good time. What did we Phil in the chat? We were calling Phil a notebook because Phil knew every answer to everything that we had.
Yeah.
Yeah. So shout out Phil.
What was that experience with your lady, like watching it and she's seen things? I know I tuned in a little bit before I went away for the weekend, but I tuned in for a little bit, and it was funny kind of watching you like describe certain things to her, or like, oh, this person or that person, like you were kind of giving her like a little bit of back history. What was that experience like when you were doing that?
So it's kind of like, I mean, I look at it like this, like whether I'm doing a watch along or not, her and I are sitting on the couch and we're watching it. Yeah. You know what I mean? So we just kind of, what you and I do, we used to sit down and have numerous phone calls about pro wrestling in our real life, and we just put it in front of a camera. Well, her and I, we would sit there and just watch it on the couch, and we just put it in front of a camera. You know what I mean? And it looked like it generated well with people. People enjoyed it. It so far has been my most viewed live stream, which is really cool. So big props to her, my girlfriend. She killed it, man. And she really played the part of, just kind of sitting there and analyzing and everything. And she's a huge Rey Fenix fan. I should put that out there. Huge Rey Fenix fan.
Was that her first time seeing Rey Fenix?
No, so she had seen him with the debut, but up until that point, no, she had never heard of him. She had never seen anything that he had done before. So kind of getting to describe his past to her a little bit, where he comes from and everything like that. She really found enjoyment out of that one.
Rey Fenix was one of my highlights for SmackDown.
For sure. Hands down. That man is so talented.
Him and Berto just really...
They tore it up.
It's cool, man. It makes me excited to see kind of, like what they're working with them, and
for sure.
Like they're giving him some of those big time matches,
Yeah.
And when I say big time matches, I'm talking about the ones that actually allow him to go and show the world what he can do, which obviously it's going to lead to a story and stuff like that. But Rey Fenix just looked great. Actually, I have a lot of praise for Garza and Berto, but when I seen Berto go out there, I thought it was actually better than him and Nathan Frazier, which was kind of interesting.
Yeah, very, very interesting. I totally forgot when we were watching it. I completely stumbled over the fact oh snap, because he had faced Nathan Frazier on the Friday previous, and it had just ran across my mind. I was like, oh, we'll probably face Axiom, not recalling that the last Friday Berto was the one positioned for the match with Rey Fenix. It just stumbled my mind.
Yeah. It's interesting, right?
Yeah.
I feel like it's kind of interesting watching that unfold. And yeah, dude, I don't know. Speaking of SmackDown, there was one thing I didn't like about SmackDown, which I feel like we should probably kind of talk about.
Yeah, go ahead.
What the is happening? And Billy, when I say this, I'm not trying to be like a dickhead because I do like him.
Yeah.
But are they really about to have Solo Sikoa go up against Randy Orton?
I don't think that's actually going to be the case.
Tell me, bro. Try to snap me out of it because I think that kind of killed my mood just a little bit.
It killed mine too because that's what it looked.
Aldis thing, you know,
yeah,
and then you have Solo Sikoa.
I think that's what it's going to remain. I think it's actually going to remain the Nick Aldis situation. The more I looked in depth, because on the surface it does look like they're going to go with Solo Sikoa, but if you guys watched, nothing happened at the end of that match, like nothing. Yeah. So they had the little tag team match or whatever, and obviously Friday they'll tell us more about what it actually looks like. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So off the top of my head, it still looks like it could potentially be Nick Aldis, and I think it'll be Nick Aldis doing it at WrestleMania. I don't think it's something that we're going to see on that Friday. So I think I'm not sure what day Randy's slated for. Yeah. I think maybe Saturday. So if it is that Saturday, I think that's where they're going to, Nick Aldis. It's simple. You can have him come out in the GM suit, maybe have a little backstage segment or whatever, and then have him be like, hey, like you got to go get ready because you're facing Randy in this match. Just little simple things that you could do to potentially get to Nick Aldis because they teased it too heavy, and Nick Aldis's face said way too much.
You think?
I don't know. I think people overreacted, including me, because I was like, no way they're gonna go with Solo because that just looks stupid. There's obviously more of a history with Nick in that story rather than Solo Sikoa and whatever he's done.
Well, no, there is history between both.
There is,
sure.
Yes,
yeah.
Yes.
There definitely is history with Solo and Randy.
Yeah.
But it is, I don't know. To me, there was a little bit of a, why did they have Solo come out there and spoil it? Like ruin it. He kind of ruined it for me. So I don't know. Like I'm hoping WWE is careful here because Nick Aldis, by the way, you don't want Solo Sikoa to go to WrestleMania and lose against Randy Orton. Nick Aldis could go out there and actually have a freaking awesome match with Randy Orton. It will be an amazing matchup. And then the cool thing is, like for Nick Aldis, if he never wrestles again, at least WWE said, "Hey man, we gave you a WrestleMania, and you got a WrestleMania against the GOAT, like one of the GOATs,
right?
Yeah,
absolutely.
So that would be really really cool for Nick Aldis, and I would be so happy for him just because being a lifelong Impact fan and watching him as Magnus and being a world champion and like really loving the stuff. People got to remember when I was covering Impact back in the day, long before I even covered WWE. Nick Aldis was my guy. So like that's a fun like little thing for me to go back and be like, okay, cool. It's nice to see him. It's the same way I felt when, AJ Styles and Samoa Joe and some of those other TNA guys came over, but Bobby Roode. But yeah, that was like the one thing about SmackDown I really didn't like when I watched it. And I did go away for the weekend, obviously, and going away for the weekend, it kind of makes it a little bit difficult sometimes because you're not as preoccupied by wrestling. Like I still made videos throughout the weekend, which was great. But to me, it was like one of those things where like I thought SmackDown was good, but the Solo thing bothered me.
Yeah.
And then I stopped thinking about wrestling.
For sure.
So then I come back. Absolutely. I come back and the first thing is I'm like, damn, bro, are they really about to do Solo Sikoa and Randy? I hope you're right. But
I genuinely think that's what it's going to be because they didn't do anything at the end of the show. It was only about Jacob and LA Knight. And I feel like if you were going to do it, you needed to do it in that moment and you needed to capture that moment. So I don't know. I think Solo was just a good person to have like come out, get Randy a match for that night. Like that's what it looked like to me.
So let me ask you a question because I know the chat has already mentioned it. I know it's definitely floated in my mind. Today we got the news Jeff Cobb is joining WWE, like it's official. We know Aleister Black's coming back. We've been seeing the vignettes. We know Rusev is back. Like, just to be clear, you don't think it would make for good TV? Like, what do you think? Like, if WWE decides ultimately, hey, we're not going to have Randy versus Aldis, but Aldis will come out and then announce, a surprise.
His opponent, pick an opponent for him. That could always be a easy like fill. I obviously don't think it'll be Jeff Cobb because Jeff Cobb is going to be in Japan, I think.
Yeah.
because he's facing Tanahashi, right?
Yeah.
On the 19th.
Yep.
So my guess here is that I mean, maybe you could have Aleister Black show up, if you want to give Aleister Black a moment at WrestleMania. I know he's scheduled for that Friday, so you just bring him in 6 days before, and you just have his first feud or program be with Randy Orton. Like, I don't know. I don't know.
I feel like if what they should do, which would low key kind of be fun if they really want to pivot, they have Aldis wrestle Orton. Orton wins. Aleister Black shows up, lights out, hits him with the black mass. And then
if WWE wants to be different at WrestleMania, that would be a really solid thing to do.
Yeah. And that's why it kind of got me thinking about like WrestleMania 41 and like surprises and stuff like that, which this is not a prediction show by any means, but I do think when we get closer, as we've gotten closer to WrestleMania 41, I can't help but wonder if WWE does have some surprises loaded, because every match on the card has stories going into it.
Yeah.
And it is a relatively stacked card in my opinion. But I do think to a certain extent, there is that level of this show needs a massive, massive moment across both nights. And whether that moment contains a surprise, or a debut, or a return, a shocking heel turn, or a shocking face turn, it needs something. This show needs massive moments. And I do think, and we'll talk about it, very likely it will be Friday when we do our prediction show.
That's kind of what I figured.
Yeah, and I think it's going to be very, very obvious going into that prediction live stream. And I'll harp on it more throughout the week, obviously. But it's a solid card.
Mm-hmm.
They're getting a lot of people on the card. There's 2 nights, 14 matches. Everything has stories. I don't know. To me, it just seems like they do need a massive, massive moment across both nights to really make this a great WrestleMania.
Of course, because like I said, this card is as exciting as the card is. I think there's a world that we live in somewhere where this card looked a little bit different than maybe the card that we're getting.
That's a possibility, yeah.
Yeah, that's just my thought process.
Yeah. Really quick shout out to We Don't Live Here. He joined the Job Squad, so shout out to you, my friend. Thank you for your support.
You live here now.
Yeah, you live here on the Ango show, baby.
Right, yeah. Live here now.
Yeah, dude, I don't know. Like, I feel like with WrestleMania, they just got to make a big statement. And really what I wanted to say, too, like, I know this isn't going to be the popular opinion. Let me fix this really quick because now my computer is tweaking out. Isn't that funny? I tell you, hey, I don't want to stream from the new computer because...
Yep, and then you go to this computer and it starts tweaking out.
Yeah, just so funny how that works.
It is.
But it's okay. It's not a big deal. We figure it out.
That's right.
Give me 1 second while I do that. How about you just preoccupy everybody for a second?
Yeah, let me talk to him. Yo, what is going on, everybody? Who's all excited for WrestleMania? Drop it in the chat. I want to see it. I want to know, are you guys looking forward to WrestleMania? Do you feel like it's a little underwhelming? How are we feeling? Okay, David's saying he's excited. All right. Denise, hello. Okay, Denise is excited. Oh, that's Denise. Hey. Yeah, no, WrestleMania will be sweet, man. It's going to be a lot of fun. I'm just going to kind of go here and just kind of read off the chat a little bit. Yeah. What do we got going on here? Oh yeah, Stone Cold Anthony Otterwald. He talked about Stone Cold Steve Austin. There's obviously a potential of that, right? We know that he's going to be at WrestleMania World. He's being inducted into the Hall of Fame. That's going to be super, super exciting. Oh, okay. Some people kind of excited. There's so many large shows and large venues in different countries. It makes WrestleMania a little less special because we see many really big events through the year. Now, around the ballpark, that's actually a really fair statement. Just because of the level that WWE has reached, there's obviously huge potential, that this could still be big, but I can also see where people get underwhelmed by this.
Yeah. I'm back, by the
Here
way.
we go.
Thanks, Billy, for
Oh,
holding it
hey,
down.
man.
The
Yeah, just
Denise,
over here reading off the chat.
I saw you
Yeah, I
had
know. I peeped.
yeah, Denise Salcido
Yeah,
is not, that's a troll account or
yeah,
something. I don't know. That's not the
yeah. I
real
peeped.
Denise,
I
though.
Yeah, I peeped right away.
Okay, so yeah, I mean, let me kind of get to my point, right? I just think WrestleMania this year, like, it's a very solid card. Honestly, I just think it's got a solid build. They've had some big moments along the way, but there is
Dwayne Jackson
something.
super chatted $20. Ango
We
has
just got
far
a
as the
super chat.
wild
Hold
card
on.
for the Owen Cup. How come it has not advertised the wild card match for Dynamite this week? They didn't do it last week either?
Dwayne, I'll get to your super chat in just a second. But yeah, I just think WrestleMania this year has a very unique build. And I don't know if I'm necessarily not hyped or if I'm not hyped enough. I don't know what it is, but it just seems like WWE this year has definitely built up a card. I just genuinely believe no matter what, like when you look at this card, it needs some big moments because
It does.
when you look at WrestleMania this year too, I think the biggest thing that's different is Cody and The Rock carried the company last year. And The Rock showed up this year, but The Rock hasn't been as part of the build. And The Rock could show up at WrestleMania and help John Cena win. They could do something with Travis Scott and somebody else selling their soul. They can have that massive moment. That's what they need. Because if they do not provide a massive moment for WrestleMania this year, I think it is going to be a little underwhelming. And I do want to preface everything by saying this, and I've mentioned this in previous live streams. WWE does not treat WrestleMania as the end all be all anymore. As we have seen through the last few years, there's things that happen at WrestleMania that trigger something else down the line throughout the rest of the summer. So I do hope that Triple H at least understands, like, hey, not a lot of people are very excited for WrestleMania this year as opposed to last year. Give us something to get excited for the rest of the year so that way we can all be happy. And I think if Triple H can do that, they will be very successful. And if they can't do that, we are pretty much doomed.
Oh yeah, I think WWE, and I've seen it in the chat. Somebody said trust in Triple H. I do, and that's why I'm going in here as quiet as WrestleMania week feels so far. You know, even just kickstarting it. We obviously haven't even gotten to Monday Night Raw yet, so we don't know what it's going to look like, or you know how they're going to sell it, whatever the case is. I know they're doing a lot of mainstream media right now as the week begins. So. You know, I am going to put my trust in Triple H here. I'm going to say, like, hey, they're going to do good by this. I think we're in for a special treat. Obviously, at the end of the day, as they do these bigger venues and stuff like that with their pay-per-views, WrestleMania has always been known to be the most important. And I'm going to put that on Triple H to really make this something special and make this exciting. Make it feel like everything that we're about to watch is completely worth it, which, again, I have all faith in Triple H. I do think he's going to do that. I do believe that he is the guy for the job.
Yeah, I trust Triple H too. I'm not going to deny it. I trust Triple H. But I just think this year it's the lack of The Rock being there. And I do think to a certain extent, like John Cena and Cody's promos have been good, but you got to have John Cena there every week. You these like bigger storylines. I don't know, like Seth and Punk and Drew and Damian and all these guys, like they've done a good job building their particular feuds, and they're good feuds going into WrestleMania. But when you look at like the main stuff, I just feel like that's kind of been a little bit underwhelming.
For sure.
We did get a super chat from our good friend Dwayne Jackson dropping a 20 bomb, and he came out and said, Ango has as far as the wild card for the Owen Cup, how come AEW has not advertised the wild card match for Dynamite this week? They didn't do it last week either. I feel like I've seen a tweet from AEW promoting it. I could double check. Let me check Tony Khan's Twitter really quick, because I feel like I've seen something from AEW. But Tony Khan ain't tweeting much these days, so I don't know. I don't know what that's all about.
You said Tony Khan's not tweeting much?
Yeah. Hey, I'm not complaining. That man on Twitter is a menace.
A real menace.
Yeah, I don't see it being advertised, actually. Oh, it is advertised this week. Hangman Page versus the wild card. Yeah.
Yeah, they brought it up. I think they even brought it up on TV this past Wednesday.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I feel like they were advertising it. That's why I remembered. No, I'm gonna be honest though, Dwayne. As far as the wild card goes, and as far as this match goes, I think we all want it to be Josh Alexander. We all want it to be something cool. And then last week when we were streaming, the entire chat was saying that it's gonna be Jack Perry, and then I fucking completely got no excitement. Look, this week is all about WrestleMania. There's nothing that AEW can do this week that will truly have me give a shit about them at all.
No.
That's just not.
Truthfully, nothing.
Yeah, there is nothing that they can do. That they just have to concede the fact that this is not their week, And even with WrestleMania being a little bit less hype this year, it just, who gives a shit about AEW? Like,
facts.
That's the thing, right? When AEW does All In, WWE is going to stack the deck, and when AEW does All In, WWE will stack the deck, and they'll be very competitive to the point where it's like you're probably going to want to watch WWE anyways. But with WWE doing WrestleMania, like, who really gives a shit about AEW? In fact, I think they're like, as far as AEW goes, you can see how they're trying to stack this card and make it a good card and stuff. But and we could sit here all day and talk about who is better or whatever, but deep down inside, it's pretty shitty. They don't have anything. Look at their card; it's a stacked card, and yet none of it seems important. So, like, I don't know. I'm not interested in that. I know Pete Rocks is in the chat talking about Athena and
don't care.
Mercedes, and yeah, buddy, you give that to me in the fucking main event. You want to have a women's main event at All In, which, by the way, AEW wouldn't do that just yet because they don't do that kind of shit yet. But you would have Athena and Mercedes main event All In, not a fucking Wednesday Dynamite. I don't care how many matches you do. What a fucking idiotic booking, bro. I don't even want to talk about that. And I apologize, Dwayne, because I know it's part of your super chat. But when it comes to this fucking Owen Cup, I've never been less excited about something. You know what I mean? I haven't been. This whole thing, Wednesday, I mean, granted, there is no WWE programming on Wednesday other than Evolve. But I'm good, bro. I'm good on that. The wild card thing is not exciting to me. And that's just the truth, man. That's just the truth.
It is, man.
Shout out to Dwayne for the super chat, by the way. Yeah, I just want to pull.
Phil Weemat super chatted $9.99.
Hold on.
I get that a lot of people aren't as hyped for Mania, and honestly, I'm not as excited as I was last year either. But last year was such a wild ride that it's tough to recreate that kind of energy.
Yeah, so Phil's super chat, he dropped $9.99 and he said, I get that a lot of people aren't as hyped for Mania. And honestly, I'm not as excited as I was last year either. But last year was such a wild ride that it's tough to recreate that kind of energy. Yeah, but they also did the press conference thing, the pre-kickoff show thing with The Rock and Seth, and
that's what's taking place on Wednesday, by the way.
They are doing that this year?
Yeah, the kickoff.
Oh, is it at the same time as AEW?
No, let me find the time.
That could change everything then. We might have a different tune because if WWE does that, you have The Rock, John Cena show up there. You have John Cena show up there and beat the fuck out of Cody. I mean, you could do a million things.
Yeah, I know they're doing that. On Wednesday.
Okay. Yeah, that's a possibility then. That's a possibility where maybe the hype changes. But it's just a matter of in terms of like really setting the bar for WrestleMania, that's going to be the moment. And Friday's go home show. I don't actually expect much from WWE Raw tonight. I expect everything to be on Smackdown. That really changes everything. But
yeah, no, they are doing. Let me look. I'm still looking at this.
Yeah, look that up because that makes me very intrigued. And the thing is, I'm not gonna lie, bro. I'm still excited for WrestleMania because naturally it's WrestleMania. I just feel like they just had way more hype last year.
For sure.
You know. Billy's looking it up right now.
Yeah, my bad, guys. I'm looking at it. So
Phil also added, he said, well, they did it because of the Cody movement and how Rock came in and changed things. Well, they've been doing these kickoff events for every PLE.
right, they do them for most PLEs.
Ever since then, they've been doing them. So that's what I'm saying. I haven't even seen them promote it, though.
Yeah, I'm not seeing it. I seen it.
If you find it, let us know.
I'll let everybody know. I'll let everybody know.
Thank you. Shout out to Phil for the super chat, though. But I do agree it is tough to recreate that kind of energy, but you could still recreate it. It's tough, but you can. The fact that John Cena needs to get his lick back on Cody after getting Crossroads. I think he is advertised for SmackDown this weekend. Yes. So I am excited about that because that should literally just end with Cody being fucked up. John Cena needs to just fucking destroy him. Yeah. Shout out to Phil for the super chat. Tolino Channel dropping 40 rupees. He says, what's your take on Stand and Deliver? Me personally, I'm in love with the build for Stand and Deliver. I think Stand and Deliver is going to be awesome. It's going to be early in the morning.
Jackson super chatted $20.
I'm really geeked about that for sure. And also too, for Stand and Deliver, one thing I want to point out, for Stand and Deliver, they naturally are going to benefit. Like Stand and Deliver is naturally going to have a good crowd. It's going to be, tomorrow we'll watch NXT and see how they continue to build. But Stand and Deliver has a very solid card, very solid build. Plus, you're going to have so many more fans in attendance than a normal NXT show. The crowd is a lot of tourism. Like it's good for NXT.
Absolutely. And the real exciting part is you're going to get like Ricky versus Ethan Page. And like that's an exciting match that I think about too. You know what I mean? Like there's so many things to think about that are exciting about the show. The women, the main event doesn't seem that bad.
Yeah.
I don't know. There's a lot.
Well, that Obafemi and Trick and Javon, like,
yep,
those are things that like, it's a very, very solid build, So I'm pretty
okay. So WrestleMania kickoff starts at 5 p.m. on Wednesday.
Perfect. Shout out to Phil, by the way. He sent that on Twitter.
Yeah.
Dude, look how fucking crazy this is. Raw, Monday, NXT Tuesday, WrestleMania kickoff. That's on Friday, by the way, not on Wednesday. Friday,
is it on Friday?
April 18th, 5 p.m. So that's before SmackDown. Maybe we'll get the stage reveal as well. SmackDown at 8 p.m. Hall of Fame at 1 a.m. Fucking no way. I'm not watching that shit. NXT Stand and Deliver at 1 p.m. Eastern. Countdown to WrestleMania at 4 p.m. WrestleMania Saturday at 7 p.m. So the kickoff show is 3 hours fucking long.
Yeah.
3 hours long, bro. Hold on.
And just so everybody is aware, I'm doing a watch along for all of this. Besides the Hall of Fame, I'm not. You miss me with that.
Yeah, that's crazy. 3 hour kickoff show for Saturday and Sunday. The 2025 Slammy Awards hasn't been announced for the time, but that's April 20th. Then the pre-show starts again at 4 p.m. Raw after Mania, NXT, and SmackDown after Mania. Holy shit. That is a lot, bro. That is so much. So, yeah, my take is Stand and Deliver is going to be great.
Stand and Deliver will be insane.
Yeah. Dwayne Jackson dropping another 20 bomb. He says, I think Cena beats Cody with The Rock's help, and I think we might. I think Cena beats Cody with The Rock's help, and I think we might get the match Roman versus Rock for WWE title, possibly at SummerSlam or possibly a rematch with Cody versus Cena. Well, I can't drop my. Yeah, I can't drop my predictions, but what I will say is this. What I will say is this. My predictions, I've kind of talked about it before with like The Rock winning or Cena winning with The Rock. But as far as SummerSlam goes, if you really, really, really want, you could do Rock versus Roman at SummerSlam. If you really, really wanted. I don't think they're going to go there, but it doesn't need to be WrestleMania. SummerSlam is 2 nights, yeah. Maybe it was 2026. That's going to be something worth paying attention to. I really don't know. Dwayne, thank you for your super chat. Oh, one thing I will say too is if The Rock isn't wrestling, right? And The Rock is going to show up for these moments, then I at the very least need Rock to appear on programming more often. Yeah, like we saw him at Chamber. Okay, we might see him at Mania. Okay, then we don't see him. We don't see him for a couple months. Backlash goes. We don't see him. Okay, now we get The Rock at SummerSlam. Like, no, that's one thing that like has to change. At least show up a little bit more often. Yeah. Shout out to Dwayne Jackson dropping a 20 bomb. Thank you, brother. Tolino Channel dropping 100 rupees. He says WrestleMania with no hype is fine for me because what's happening in the main event of both nights can lead to the rest of 2025 and maybe next WrestleMania. Yeah, 100%. That is the truth. And I said this. I said this with WrestleMania 39. I said this with WrestleMania 40. It's just a little bit different under Triple H. But we got very spoiled last year with an incredible build, and that's one of the reasons why I'm like a little disappointed, because John Cena's heel turn is such a massive, massive ordeal. They haven't made it feel like a massive ordeal.
Oh, they're
You're
saying
good.
I'm muted.
You're good.
Okay. But the big thing right now is like John Cena's not even going to be on the show tonight. It's going to be Roman, Punk, Seth. So it begs the question, like we have to wait till Friday. So literally the day before WrestleMania to even get more answers about John Cena. And who knows, he can come out there. And if he really wants to, he can come out there and say 3 things and leave. So I don't know. We get put in a really difficult situation here. It just very interesting for sure.
Yeah. I definitely agree with Tolino Channel Super Chat, though. I've been saying that WrestleMania is no longer the end all be all. So
no, I mean, we talk about their shows being huge. You know what I mean? As is.
Yeah.
So
it's just so funny to me that like, and I really hate to bring AEW into the conversation, but I'm paying attention to the chat and I'm seeing things being said and everything like that. But like, it's different when you have storylines being like your main driving force behind your show. And with WWE, it's so storyline driven that like people, because they don't like the idea of Drew versus Damian Priest, they're like, well, it's a bad storyline, but it's not. Like their ability to tell the story, and I really hate this, and I want to make this a very clear point within professional wrestling fans. Stop moving the goalpost for every company. And that includes AEW as well. For WWE and AEW, stop moving the fucking goalposts, because when I watch WWE and I for 15 fucking years, bro, all I hear is, oh, Vince McMahon it just doesn't make sense what they're doing, right? Yeah. But then it's like you have Damian Priest and Drew McIntyre's story goes back to last year's WrestleMania. And
yeah, I mean, it starts with the cash.
Yeah, it's just the way they do things. They connect the dots between things. And then, okay, well, what is one of Damian Priest and Drew McIntyre's strong suits? Man, they're really good when it comes to having gimmick matches. Drew did Hell in a Cell with Punk and made a match of the year conversation, bro. Damian Priest and a celebrity went out there and had a badass street fight. So you're telling me Damian Priest and Drew McIntyre can't go out there and have a banger? They could. But
they can.
But the conversation becomes, well, it's just not hype. It just feels rushed. It just doesn't make sense. Well, please tell me. I don't really care. Like, and this is the problem. And I swear to God, like, I'm pointing this out because I see in the chat, Priest doesn't get much of a reaction. Bro, what are we saying here? If you're judging your show, the match is going to be good or bad, or a story is going to be good or bad because you just don't like the fucking wrestler, that's totally different. But just say that you don't like the wrestler, because if I watch AEW, for example, and I see Will Ospreay and Kyle Fletcher go out there and have a steel cage match, I'm not comparing that steel cage match to the one that you see on Raw. What I'm comparing that to, or what I'm thinking about, is, wow, that's a great match. I don't have to do this whole comparison between the two, right? And I think that's one of the things that is so annoying with pro wrestling fans. It's like, you see what's happening with Drew McIntyre, you see what's happening with Damian Priest. You might not like those guys. Just say you don't like those guys. But the fact is, their storyline is cooking. It's a good storyline. Oh, Drew McIntyre deserves better. Okay, we can argue that he shows like he deserves better than a mid-card feud for WrestleMania. Sure. But at the same time too, where do you really put Drew McIntyre at WrestleMania other than that? Do you put him in with Roman Reigns, Seth Rollins, and Punk? I mean, you could, but is it really, really worth it for that? No, because what you do with Drew McIntyre, cough, cough, sell your soul. Oh, now you propel to something bigger. Like, that's why, honestly, I don't want to do my predictions yet. There is more to the Drew McIntyre match, in my opinion. But that's the thing. It's like, people just want to sit here and look at like, oh, well, I don't like the fact that, oh, like Jacob Fatu versus LA Knight is not a big time match. That's a match you could do on SmackDown. Sure, you could do it on SmackDown. In fact, I would encourage WWE to put it on SmackDown so I can listen to more people bitch and complain that the United States Championship isn't on WrestleMania. Like, do you see what I'm saying? Like, you have to fucking figure it out in a way that naturally works to get people on TV and then make it logical. Oh, so you've been able to do that across all 14 matches. Cool. Now, I'm an AEW hater when I point out that AEW doesn't do that.
That's what the internet would tell you.
But I'm supposed to believe that these 14 matches that have stories and build-ups are supposed to be terrible matches. Oh, I get it. See, that's where the tribalism comes into play. Tribalism, actually, I'm starting to believe, Billy, it's not real. I don't believe in tribalism anymore. I believe in common sense versus no common sense. And people, I swear to God, bro, this is going to spiral into a 3-hour conversation. I'm not doing it right now.
Come on.
But no, I just think when you watch wrestling, it's like you look at the WrestleMania card and we can all pretty much agree that, hey, maybe we're not as excited this year as we were from last year. We can all agree on that. But
yes,
there's a huge difference between having hype and then also being there and saying these matches are going to suck. Because at the end of the day, like why do we got to have this fake outrage for what's going to suck? Oh, people want to use the term tribalism. Oh, tribalism. I'm so sick of tribalism. But the reason why I say I don't think it exists is because I think it's just everybody has to be outraged about something.
Absolutely.
So it doesn't even have to do with the companies. It just has to do with I need to be fucking fake mad because people can't realize. And it's so sad. It's so pathetic. And I could go on this rant forever, but I think it's so easy to sit here and point fingers and say, well, AEW bad, WWE good, WWE bad, AEW good. But then reality is, well, if you want to compare apples to apples, why is it that we can't do apples to apples comparison? It never has anything to do with the exact comparison. And it's such a fucking shitty ass conversation because nobody actually wants to have this. But people are going to sit here and talk about after WrestleMania 41, when All In happens, people are going to say, oh, All In was better than WrestleMania. But people will also say WrestleMania was better than All In. But it's like, give me apples to apples comparison as to how that would be the case. And that's the problem. It's like we have somebody in the chat saying, oh, well, Dynamite and Collision this week is going to be better than WrestleMania itself. Brother, I fucking pray that AEW slaps the shit out of WWE this week if that's the case. If their card is that much better, I hope it fucking bankrupts the WWE. I hope it fucking kills WWE. Because that's how fucking stupid it sounds, right? I'm saying something stupid. That's how stupid it sounds when somebody sits there and says a regular Dynamite and Collision looks better than WrestleMania.
Well, then people go in and they just go off pre-predictions and they're like, oh yeah, this is going to be better. You can't predict that. You can't say that. Like you said, dude, yeah, sure, we hope. Cool. If their card is stacked like that, bankrupt them. Do it. Do something huge. That's not the case. It's just not going to happen. It's real life. You know what I mean? We got to look at what's actually happening. AEW is not on the level right now, and they're not going to do that next to WWE, especially at WWE's Bread and Butter Week. People will come in here, they will shit all over WWE, they will say AEW is better, people will say WWE is better, whatever the case is. No matter what, at the end of the day, this is WWE's week. Hate to break it to people. I'll be the blunt one to say it. It's their week. You're not topping anything that they're doing. And to go out and say, oh, well, All In's going to be better. We don't know that yet. We'll talk about All In when we get to All In.
Yeah.
Right now, we're at WrestleMania, and this is what it's going to be. It's going to be better. Hate to break it to people. Whatever. At the end of the day, WWE, they're going to thrive this week. They're going to do well, no matter what any troll in the chat says or any Twitter account says on the internet. WWE is going to eat well. Want to know why? Look at the marketing that they're doing. Just go back to the marketing. I posted a TikTok about it. We got Jey Uso on SneakerCon and Complex, right? Sneaker shopping. We got Triple H on the Flagrant podcast. Like, these are mainstream outlets. People don't understand the importance of the business. It's not just about the wrestling. As fun and as great as the storytelling and the wrestling and all of that is, there is a business side to it, and WWE plays into pop culture. Why? Because pop culture is the driving factor. We got somebody like Tom Brady going on Fox Sports talking about, oh yeah, I think I'm going to be there. I love what WWE is doing. At the end of the day, they are going to be the ones eating off of this. This is their week. Let them eat. It is what it is. AEW, they're going to continue to live in their realm. They're going to be fine. I promise you.
Well, and that's the thing too. It's like, why are we sitting here? Like, I'm looking at the chat and I'm reading things, and it's like, why are we sitting here and talking about an event that hasn't even happened yet in terms of whether it'll be good or bad? Like, I think WrestleMania will be good based on the storytelling that brought us there. So, you know what's going to change my opinion on that? The results I get. Not the matches, but the results I get. How they finish to tell those stories or what they do in those stories. I can't talk about All In. I can't say All In's going to be better or worse than WrestleMania because we haven't got there yet. We're not even on the fucking road to All In. Oh, Kenny and Okada. I promise you guys, mark my words. I don't care what Kenny and Okada do for the next 4 months. Mark my words. When we talk about All In, Kenny can win. Okada could win. It doesn't matter. I will throw this out there. Spoiler alert. I will bury that fucking match. I don't care how fucking good of a match that is. Mark my words. I promise you guys. Kenny and Okada, when I do my All-In review and we do our live show, I'm promising you guys this because this is how truthful I am. I will bury that match, and there's for one specific reason. I've been calling it out since Kenny showed up with diverticulitis. That's a major fucking flaw in this storyline. I don't care how good Okada and Kenny is. I'm glad it's going to happen. It's going to be a great match. Cool. I'm still going to fucking bury it because from the point of storytelling, it fucking sucks. It's ass.
Yeah, dude.
It doesn't matter what they do Wednesday. Done anything. It doesn't matter what they do Wednesday, Saturday, all the way up until All In. Because of what happened previously, it's already garbage to me. So that's my little spoiler alert.
I just want to point something out. Jey Uso won the Royal Rumble, and I'm not going to sit here and do like the whole big comparison thing. I just want people to look at this though. Jey Uso won the Royal Rumble almost 2.5, maybe even 3 months ago. You know, January was a long time, or February, March, April. It's been 2 months, whatever, right? So for a month, WWE, we talked about it numerous times, felt very slow. You remember that conversation, right? We felt fatigued. Yeah. WWE found a way at the perfect time to tell the story of Jey Uso and Gunther, and they continuously would tell the story, just very minuscule. And then eventually, a couple weeks ago, we kind of get that big break in the story that we've been needing, right? WWE answered that question right away. Well, here's the problem, is they have done no interactions with Kenny and Okada. All they have done is looked at each other. Well, that is it.
This is the problem. So, spoiler, I'm going to tell you guys this in July. Or whenever the fuck it is. He had diverticulitis. He got jumped by the Elite. Nothing ever came from that. Don't care.
Yeah.
And if it comes 6 months later, I still don't care. Stupid. To me,
very dumb.
Very, very dumb. I do not respect that. That's terrible storytelling, garbage storytelling. And we're not going to sit here and say, oh, well, Drew and Damian Priest isn't a good match because I just don't like them. I'm a baby. I gotta cry because I just don't like them. But I'm gonna say the storyline is bad. Well, tell me the storyline is bad and then explain what happened in the storyline that you didn't like. But we don't get that. You don't get that context. When I tell you guys I don't like a storyline, when I bury the fuck out of AEW, I mean, the reality is I'm telling you exactly the flaw that I saw that makes me disconnected from the story. What's making me disconnected from John Cena and Cody? I don't think John Cena's heel turn has been that fucking exciting. I feel like his segments have been great. They're great segments. Him getting Crossroads was great, but that doesn't make me fucking jump up and go nuts and crazy for this match because you just turn John Cena heel and like he's not doing anything that really makes me feel like, oh my God. John Cena should be beating the fuck out of Cody. Cody hit him with the crossroads, and John Cena doesn't show up the next week. Sir, you should be back there beating the fuck out of him backstage. And Cody, you're like, bro, I'm sorry, but that's just the way it is.
Yeah, I agree.
That's just the way it be, bro. Toledo Channel dropped a 40 rupee super chat. He says Billy TKO's hair versus 100 super chat at WrestleMania 41. Billy is not cutting his hair. Honestly, you guys probably have to like super chat his channel to like $1 trillion because he loves his hair.
Yeah, I am obsessed with my hair, guys. I'm just gonna let you guys know that now. If you guys get me to 100,000 subscribers, maybe we could talk about it. Are you guys sure you want to see a bald me? Are you sure? Like, let's ask ourselves that question first.
If I hit 100K subscribers like today, it would never happen. But if somebody was like, "Oh, we'll give him 100K subscribers," I would go and I would buzz my head fucking bald. I don't give a shit. I did miss a couple super chats, and I do apologize. The chat's been moving so damn fast. I didn't even see this. So let me get to those. I do apologize. Holy shit.
You finally missed him. He's not perfect.
We don't live here. Dropped $1.99. He says, "Where is the live merch? Hoodie, beer, pints." I mean, I have merch, and Billy has merch on his website. I have merch on mine if you want to buy merch. I still haven't. I have to upload some new designs today. Fuck.
I know. I gotta get some "You're Agitating Me" merch going. I'm working on it.
Yeah, I gotta get some stuff uploaded. But yeah. Shout out to We Don't Live Here. What else did I miss? Oh, Cornell Bryant dropped to $4.99. Fuck, I'm so bad at this. 41 is a filler. They're thinking about 42 with Cody versus Punk, Rock versus Roman, Rhea versus Grace. Everything is filler in wrestling, by the way, just so you guys are aware. Everything. Even when Cody won the championship from Roman, it was filler because there was another evolution to the story. There was another chapter. Yeah. That's the thing. Everything in professional wrestling is filler when you're continuously shooting every week new content.
Absolutely.
And that's the difference. Vince had payoffs. Vince's whole belief, his philosophy was different from people. It's, hey, people spent their money to come to WrestleMania. You send them home happy. Absolutely. You don't see that right now.
World Realty super chatted $20.
Give me a second.
I want to hear you cry like a baby.
Yeah, so you have like the whole thing with like Vince's philosophy was completely different. It was like Vince's philosophy was like, hey, send everybody home happy. This is perfect. You know, Triple H is like, fuck your feelings. See you on Monday. And next thing you know, fucking craziness. And actually, just so everybody knows, Raw and SmackDown after WrestleMania has not been the same since WrestleMania like 29.
No, and we're gonna find out. We're gonna find out this upcoming next Monday, so a week from today, what WrestleMania looks, or what the following show looks like, and how WWE goes about. Because we know SmackDown is going to be good, because right now it is slated for Aleister Black to return on the 25th.
Bro, the 25th that'll isn't even a Friday. Oh, it is.
Yeah.
Oh, it is. Like, you're right. You're right.
Come on, don't question me like that. I know.
My bad. Damn, that's kind of sick.
Come on, man.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, maybe. So they got him slated for that SmackDown, so that'll be interesting. But what they do on Monday, I know that Cody Rhodes, again, I think you made a TikTok about it, but WWE may have just spoiled it. I know Cody Rhodes isn't on like any posters for the Raw after Mania or anything like that.
I've been saying that, bro. I've been saying that. John Cena's advertised, Cody isn't.
Also, like this is where WWE does a really good job. As true as that could be, John Cena could easily walk out there the Monday after. He's not done wrestling after. He could walk out there the Monday after and be like, well, damn.
Well, let me say this. Like, and I'm being dead serious. WrestleMania 41 should really just end with Cody Rhodes being bloodied. Like, and I said this before. At WrestleMania 40, he won the belt. He's celebrating. Everybody's holding him up. This is a new era. John Cena's heel turn should literally just become this thing where Cody is left bloodied. Whoever helps John Cena, Travis Scott, and The Rock, the next person to sell their soul should leave Cody bloodied. This keeps Cody off of television for a little bit of time, which is perfect because now you have a situation where more stories unfold.
Now, here's where my problem occurs with that is they swore that John Cena was going to leave with the championship. He's slated for a lot of dates after WrestleMania.
So here's what you could do. That is true. But what you can do is whoever ends up selling their soul to help John Cena win, because this is going to be like last year. People are getting involved.
Dwayne Jackson super
so
chatted
what you do
$10.
at that point is you literally just have WWE, whoever sells their soul helps John Cena. John Cena runs away. This guy is the one doing the heavy lifting. Maybe that's Seth Rollins. Maybe that's Drew McIntyre. But you get my point. There is something you can do with John Cena taking the belt and leaving. It is weird that he is advertised for those dates, but what you can do is he's a heel. I'm not showing up, you know, or have him only show up in dark segments and not actually on TV. You could do that too.
They could do that. I think that would be a waste, though, to just have him come out there and have him for all these dates and then use him in a dark segment. I don't know. That just seems a little too rough.
You never know.
I don't know. We'll see.
We'll see what happens. We got some more super chats. Dude, YouTube is buggy today, but we are getting through it.
Yeah, we are.
Let's see. John's World Realty says, I want to hear you cry like a baby again. Ha ha ha. That was a $20 super chat. I'm just mad because wrestling is so bad. I hate WWE. I hate everybody. I hate Ango. Ango's a bitch.
Bro,
You're starting to entertain me.
Bro, get the fuck here. Somebody paid $20 for you to do that. Come on, give us some more. Come on, more. Get into it.
I don't know how to fake cry, bro. I'm a real man. I don't cry.
Oh, shut up.
I'm a real man. Real men don't cry.
Yeah, somebody paid $20 for that. That's awesome. Thank you for whoever sent that money.
Shit, for $20, wait till you see what I do for $1,000. I told you guys, there's no better live show than this one. No better live show than this one.
Absolutely not.
That's so funny.
Jesus.
I don't know why. Yeah, everything's kind of bugging. So I'm trying to pull up the super chats. Dwayne dropped another one for $10. Shout out to John for that one. Dwayne Jackson dropped $10. He says, Ango, in your opinion, is LA Knight stuck in creative purgatory? He is stuck in the United States title scene, or is it that the top of the card is too crowded for him to break out? This is a phenomenal super chat. I'm going to be honest with you. I think LA Knight is kind of trapped. Like, he is definitely in a creative purgatory. This super chat is such a good one because he is stuck in the mid card, and he's incredibly over. But how do you really get LA Knight to the next step? Like, when you see that the top storylines of WrestleMania this year include John Cena, Cody Rhodes, Seth Rollins, CM Punk, like, there needs to be an explosive moment that happens for LA Knight that takes him to the next level. And
he needs a really solid feud coming out of this United States picture.
I don't think he's going to get that. And it's nothing against him.
I know. Trust me, I hear you, and I know. But I think that's the only way you take him out of this quote unquote purgatory, right? Because he needs something to elevate him to the next level, and it can't be the championship. As much as the United States and Intercontinental Championships are important, I don't think they're actually the elevation tool. I think it's what comes after you do with those titles that creates the elevation. And I think Gunther is like a perfect example of that. You know, having something just kind of traject you forward after you lose the title. That's exactly what happened. And I think you can kind of do the same thing with LA Knight.
Yeah, no, I do agree. I just don't think LA Knight will ever get there.
I don't either. I genuinely
I want to be wrong, but he just needs something explosive. And, you know, we'll see what happens after WrestleMania 41. Maybe he can kind of come to the aid of Cody, and that propels him. But I don't see it. And there's nothing wrong with being a mid-carder or like a really good mid-carder, especially because of how over he is. But it's just something isn't clicking for him to get to that point. And it's been over 2 years now where I feel like it should have happened.
For sure. Somebody said Money in the Bank is coming up.
And that's a possibility. Maybe Money in the Bank, but
for sure.
You know, it's tough. It's hard to say, I swear.
Yeah.
shout out to our good friend Dwayne Jackson for the $10 super chat. Thank you, man. Tolino Channel dropped 100 rupees. He says if Cena leaves with the title, it should be against Punk. SummerSlam 2011 inverse. Cena has nothing to lose now, but Punk has. Do you really want to see John Cena not show up? I mean, John Cena not showing up could be kind of annoying considering that Roman Reigns barely showed up with the belt. I don't know if I really want to see that, but
that's why I said I think Cody should win, but we're going to talk about that on a later date.
Yeah, I don't know. That's tough.
Yeah. There's a lot of flaws in this John Cena stuff. A lot of holes that they got to kind of wiggle through, and they just haven't yet. And obviously, we're going to have to wait.
I was going to tell you, too, not to cut you off, but it just in my mind. I do believe the thing that when it comes to the Cena thing, I do believe they have a plan. Like, I genuinely believe they have a plan. I think they have holes in this, but I think that's like all on purpose, to be honest. Which I'm hoping so. Sure. And we'll see at WrestleMania.
Right.
That's why.
Absolutely. Maybe. We're gonna see though. WrestleMania is this week. It's this weekend, man. That's insane.
Yeah. Isn't that something else, man?
Crazy time.
Yeah. Crazy. Shout out to Tolino Channel for the super chat. Thank you, brother. There's a lot of people talking about Brock Lesnar in the chat. Brock Lesnar ain't coming back.
Hate to be the bearer of bad news, yo.
And you don't need Brock Lesnar.
You don't. You're fine without him. You're fine without him.
I mean, they've shown at this point they don't need him. So
right. At that point, you're just hoping.
Yeah, kind of weird. The John Cena situation, like John Cena being a world champion in 2025 at a time where Brock Lesnar's outed from WWE. It's so crazy because those two guys really were like, for modern day wrestling fans, those two guys were a very big part of them. And there's a chance that we could see John Cena as a heel being the champion and Brock Lesnar not even being in the company and being erased from the company. Like, that's just so crazy to think about.
It is. A lot of things that have happened in WWE are crazy to think about.
Ain't that something, bro?
Ain't that some shit? Dude, I'm so sorry. Somebody said it. They said Billy needs coffee. Yeah, guys, I do. Real bad. Yeah, wake up.
We're gonna need it this week. It's a long week.
Yeah, it is. It's time to get energetic, get up. Today was Monday. Once tomorrow comes and we talk about Raw, I promise, guys, I'll be awake and more active with you guys. So I apologize for today for my baggy eyes.
Nah, you good, bro. You good. Yeah, man, I don't know. I'm excited, but like I said earlier, I just don't have as much hype right now. But I'm always going to be naturally excited for the big pay-per-views. I always do get excited. It's just this year's slightly different. And
yes, it is. It is, but we're going to see as time goes and moves forward. And like, we may be singing a different tune tomorrow. We're going to see how tonight plays out.
Yeah.
It's the go-home show. It's Raw. It's going to be important. We'll see.
Yeah. And, of course, we got some potential returns and surprises. Now we got to see WWE do that, and I don't know. Well, I think that's good, man. We went over an hour. We got a busy week, and we'll be live every day, Monday through Friday. Plus, we'll be live post-WrestleMania 41, Night 1, Night 2, and Stand and Deliver. Billy's going to be live on his channel doing the watch-alongs, so make sure you guys check that out.
I just want you to, before we go, you missed a super chat from Tolino Channel.
I swear it does not say I missed another one.
Yeah, it was about Sheamus. I remember seeing it. He was talking about Sheamus. Hold on, let me see it. Should he appear at Stand and Deliver against a rookie, considering he doesn't have a WrestleMania match?
Let's see. I can't even find it in the YouTube chat, so give me a second. Let me go to the YouTube dashboard. Oh my God, I missed. So Tolino Channel. Okay, yes. So Tolino Channel did drop 100 rupees. The full super chat read, correct me if I am wrong, but is Motor City Machine Guns versus Street Profits booked on SmackDown? Also, if Sheamus doesn't have any program, give him a rookie at NXT Stand and Deliver. So the first part of it is MCMG versus Street Profits is booked on SmackDown. Now they've been telling a multi-man feud. There's always a possibility it gets thrown out, DQ, and then they set it up for WrestleMania. I do believe that's a possibility. Regarding Sheamus,
that out. I don't hate that.
Yeah. Regarding Sheamus, I don't like that idea. I think Sheamus doesn't really. I like the guy. Not everybody could be on WrestleMania, bro. You know?
Exactly.
Not everybody could be on WrestleMania, so we'll see
what happens. They tried to fit as many now with 2 days, but we're just gonna see.
Yeah. Sorry, Toledo Channel. I feel so bad. Toledo Channel. I didn't mean to do that. YouTube is bugging though. The live chat on YouTube is bugging. The live chat is moving too fast. The live stream, everything is just buggy. But I'm glad Billy caught that, so we were able to read it.
Yeah.
And yeah. WrestleMania 41 predictions will be Friday at 12 p.m. Tomorrow we'll talk about Raw. Wednesday we'll talk about NXT. Thursday we'll maybe talk about AEW. I don't know. Who gives a shit about them?
We'll see.
And then Friday predictions. Plus I got some stuff lined up. That's very cool. It's a WrestleMania tradition at this point.
Yeah.
So I'm headed to New York. What? Just messing around. Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, that is the live stream today. And thank you all for being here. Shout out to everybody for the super chats. We hit the goal. And we gained a lot of subscribers during the stream, which was really cool too. So we are getting closer and closer to 100,000. Appreciate that, my friends. Again, follow Billy, YouTube, TikTok, Twitter, all that good stuff. Billy TKO. On Twitter, it's Billy DTKO. You can follow me on YouTube at Ango, Twitter and X, whatever you call it, at Ango PW, TikTok at Ango PW. Ladies and gentlemen, that is the Ango Show. Thank you all for watching, and we will see you guys tomorrow. Billy will see you tonight when he's live doing the watch-alongs. So if you guys want to watch Billy watch wrestling, then you should watch Billy as he watches wrestling. So you could be watching what Billy's watching while you guys are both watching at the same time because, that's really cool and stuff. So,
Yep.
Peace.